I love all styles of music. So from Indian music to blues music to jazz to trad, and I just started learning all those styles, and then just started combining them. So eventually you come up with this kind of style of a feeling of music, that I created, So it's got its own kind of, hopefully it's got its own feel.
I think we often say that about the music. Create like a heartbeat or a tribal chant or something. Once you get into that zone, keep it going. Alter it a bit, but keep the backbone of it much the same.
Rianoir was formed with myself, my brother Simon and Mickey Hoey in the early 90s. We recorded an album called Ancient Shadows. We used to play up in the lobby, regularly. We were getting a following, but then my brother fell in love and moved to America. I moved down to West Cork for about 8 to 9 years. And when I moved back up, myself and Mick started playing music again. And then we decided to bring Rianoir back to life. Mick is the backbone of the music. He's my right-hand man, really, and I just play lead over what he does.
A lot of the times, people wouldn't know that I'd look across at Harry quite often because it all depends on how much lead he wants to do on the time, and he generally gives me a nod when the time change. No, a lot of times just changes. I can hear that, I know it's coming, but if he decides to go on an extra little bit, I have to kind of look across and just keep an eye on.
There's a structure behind the songs, okay? And there's a certain structure that I go by, but then I'm improvising over all of that. So whenever you listen to me play, you're never hearing the same thing twice.
I take absolute great pleasure in listening to him. And when he comes home and we play together, to listen to the two of them bouncing off each other, for me that's magic.
I got into making guitars when I moved to West Cork in about 2001, 2002. And I wasn't doing any music at the time. And I was always interested in guitars. I used to take guitars apart. And I met a friend of mine down in West Cork. And he was building guitars. So I went to his workshop and I just fell in love with the idea. And I went home straight away and I just started tearing apart old doors and everything, and bits of wood, and slapped everything together, I'm just getting to the moment where I'm happy with the sound of the guitars, just at that moment, and the feel of the guitars and the look. This is a redwood, Sinker redwood top, ebony fretboard and bridge, ebony headstock, mahogany neck, and American quarterstone oak on the back and sides. And Sinker redwood is from the Great Lakes. They're only allowed to bring up one log a year, and it's pretty expensive stuff, but there's a lovely tone off it,
I hated school. Unfortunately, the mother that I had, she realised that it was no point in keeping me there. And there was just a draw. I spent a lot of my time down the beach and the rocks and just fishing with the rod and then looking at the fishing boats. And like a magnet, I just had to go. So I spent roughly around 30 years at sea, for all sorts of fishing, deep sea fishing to small boat fishing on the shore. One of the other fishermen once said that it was like when you sniff the salt, you'll be hooked, and that's all there's to it. But sometimes I'm glad that I'm not fishing, but other times I wish I was. But that's how life is. No, things have changed. The springtime, without a doubt, is the best. All the young shoots and real tasty. Some foods, they're not that tasty, but they're a huge benefit to you. In the autumn, you have all the different nuts, the blackberries, basic things people are tripping over. And if you just look around and you know what to look for, you're walking over stuff you can eat. It's your pantry and it's your medicine cabinet at the same time. It's everything you want if you have the knowledge to know the different uses. You can see with the fire going, we'll have lobster there that we picked up only a couple of hours ago in a small boat. Even though I'm not commercial fishing anymore, I just keep a couple of lobster pots out for my own use. As we had some nettle soup. I picked the nettles earlier on. As a bit of bread, bit of salad, and again it boils down just to the simple pleasures in life. When it comes to the music and outdoors, there's definitely things you can pick up, even the way some certain birds would sing. You mightn't create music that sounds like the bird, but it would spark off an idea in your head. So by the time you get home, you go by, you pick up the guitar and you just start working around that. For me, all the different streams that are out there, they all seem to have their own rhythm as well. And sometimes you can pick up on like a different beat, and you try keep that in your head when you get home. Doesn't always work, but sometimes it does. Even the way the wind just goes off the top of the reeds and stuff, it's all little ideas. It's like, once you have a creative mind, I suppose, anything will spark it off. Any sound, anything going.